Welcome to Women Speakers Association's WSA-TV Women Premiere Show. I'm Laura Rubenstein, your host and producer. And today we're in the beginning of 2022. We want to help you express your message and feel like you're fulfilling your highest intentions. Our experts today are going to share their wisdom and their insight to help you do this and inspire you to make 2022 your year to manifest your greatest impact. So I want to introduce them and have them introduce themselves. Let's go say hi. Hi, Michelle.
Hello, Dr. Michelle St. Jean here. I am an author, global business connector, reinvention strategist, connecting living legends, leaders, and legacy from Bermuda.
Great to have you. Hi, Dr. Christine.
Hello, Laura. I am Dr. Christine Malenda, and I am from Long Island, New York, and I am a doctor of metaphysics.
Wonderful to have both of you here. And Dr. Michelle, I want to ask you the first question, which is, what advice can you give our viewers to help them manifest their intentions?
Faith it till you make it. That's been my golden vein. You are conscious beings who influence the world around you through your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your intentions. So why not listen to the wildness of your heart, the call of your soul, and lean into a life directed by your inner compass?
Oh, that is beautiful. How would one start to do that?
Well, I've been blessed by being a willing person of prayer, contemplation, and meditation. So if whatever it is, whatever higher power you believe into, you can wrap prayer around it, contemplation. You can be imagining your future and how you would like to create it. There's some wonderful meditations around creating what your future looks like, smells like, tastes like, feels like. And it's an amazingly powerful tool in terms of moving you out of fear into gratitude and coming from your soul.
I love that, because when people hear fake it till you make it, I think there's a little resistance to that, but you just made it perfectly accessible in a way to embrace where you're going. So it's not about faking, it's about actually pre-playing where you're going is what I'm getting out of that process and those suggestions and advice. Thank you for that so much. So Christine, tell us about the advice you have. Add to that. What advice can you give our viewers to help them manifest their intentions?
Yes, I am absolutely aligned with Dr. Michelle, and I like to share with everyone that nothing is more important than how you feel, right? Our feelings are dictating everything that we are creating throughout the course of our day. And so I invite everyone to be reflective, to be mindful, to begin their day in a state of grace and gratitude. And, it is a wonderful thing that we have evolved into a culture that talks about these things a lot. And it may sound almost simplistic, but I'm sure Dr. Michelle would agree that there is nothing more important than how we begin our day and what we set our intention for at the beginning of the day. So that morning mind is everything.
Any advice or techniques you might recommend us using to get into that space?
So there's a few, but one comes quickly to mind that I like to practice this before you go to sleep at night. Set your intention to be aware when you wake up, meaning there is a moment of space when you wake up in the morning where you do not recall your stories. You do not recall your aches and pains. You do not recall even who you are yet. There is just this little window. Set your intention to be lucid and aware in that momentary time to imprint on the screen of your mind and the screen of your day exactly who and what and how you want to be with the gift of this day.
And if we keep in mind our intentions for the day or for a long term, we do this on a daily basis is what I'm hearing, and you eventually get there.
Absolutely. It is it's a building energy. It is cumulative, And so the more you practice this, I began this a couple of decades ago, and I didn't get it right every night. I didn't remember every night to, program my mind for the morning. But the more I did it, honestly, there's something to the number 40. 40 days, if you really commit to it, you start to develop a habit.
Mhm.
And so after that 40 days, it did become a process for my life. And it became a total game changer on how the day would unroll for me. And so I started sharing it with my clients, and it became a great success.
Yes. And I like that you put 40. A lot of people have this idea, oh, it takes 21 days, but it can be a lot longer. Yes.
It is. I think it's more 40.
I agree. I agree. So I want to learn a little bit more about each of you, because you have this incredible wisdom to help people manifest their intention. So what do you do? Who do you work with, and what do you do with them, Michelle?
Thank you. I'm inspired by professional women, vivid visionaries, and those elusive grandmothers still in the working world, because they're an ever-changing group. Their membership can be added to daily, and ranging from under 40 through to centenarians. Anyway, I'm passionate about diversity, equality, and inclusion, and age is one of those protected characteristics. So it leaves me wondering, does it hinder or does it help? So for me, as a 21st century grandmother, I thrive on being curious and adventurous and making visible what needs to be myth busted, so that we can celebrate and validate the power of women throughout the generations. After all, in the current workforce, we've got great grandmothers through to great granddaughters, with Gen Z coming on board in 2018. So imagine what we could do if we did a little intergenerational harmonization and collaboration, and expand and adopt a new perception of women.
I love that. How did you come to this work?
Wow. Well, I've had 4 diverse careers over my lifetime, and possibly a 5th one coming up in 2022. So I got into this because instead of looking at the chronological or being industry specific, I started viewing my life and leadership through the lens of my values, and wisdom is my number one value. It's all about intergenerational knowledge transfer for me. And how do we inspire people to see that the time has come for us as women to grow into being living legends or vivid visionaries, and invest our time, treasure, and talent in seeing the world we would like to be a part of.
Well, thank you for being the light source to bring that to the forefront, because the wisdom, it needs to be passed down. There is a collaboration that is going on and could be enhanced, that you're seeing, and you are truly a leader and an expert in manifesting that intention and helping the generations from your wisdom manifest their intentions. I see that this is kind of a theme of what you're doing. Is that right?
Absolutely. I'm actively seeking to create a Living Legends community, that circle of influence and example of what transcendency leadership looks like, and creating the space to be curious so that we can start mentoring and leading by example in this area.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I can't wait to hear more about the Living Legends community. So, Christine, tell us a little bit more about you, the work you do. Who do you work with, and what do you do?
Yeah, so I work primarily with women. I am certainly open to men, but primarily with women. And I work with women who are looking to grow personally and professionally. For me, those two things go hand in hand. And it was professional in my early years, and I started realizing that to grow with a permanency professionally, it really required personal growth. And so I brought those two things together. I had left my corporate career and came into the world of metaphysics and healing on a full-time basis, because I really, again, believed, coming back to, nothing is more important than how you feel. So I work with women who are eager to make changes personally and professionally, but they are open to the spiritual component, which I have found to be essential. It is the core of my teaching, it's the core of the work. And we are spiritual beings, as far as I am concerned. We are spiritual beings having that human experience. And so the spiritual life is the foundation for the success and the expansion in your personal and professional development.
Beautiful. So tell us about like how you help somebody.
Yes. So I have a few different ways that I work with people. One is the online course that I teach live, which is the wealthiest version of you. And I have to mention that because it is my foundational course, which helps people with enlightenment in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and faith, the four pillars of their spiritual prosperity. And from that, we launch into the year-long mastermind called The Kingdom in Me. And in that, we work together to monetize our mission as spiritual beings, but taking that work into the worldly world, as I call it. And also, of course, my foundational work was always the one-on-one mentoring, and I still do offer that for people as well.
Do you have a story about how you help someone?
I do. There are many wonderful, wonderful women that I've worked with over the years, and it really still remains such a privilege for me. But this one person in particular is someone that has made a journey with me for 15 years. And I love her story because it was so unexpected. She signed up for a very simple prosperity workshop with me. And whatever her thoughts were about that, how she might improve her life or have a little more money. And basically what happened was the fire was lit, right? The fire was lit with what else could there be for me? And so as her husband told her at the time, once you start, you'll never stop. And she didn't. So she went from a part-time job, debt, and fear, journeyed all the way through my programs and processes to now being a very wealthy entrepreneur who is a much sought after spiritual medium. And she's very successful at what she does. And debt is certainly in her rearview mirror. Fear that really ruled her world, it's gone. She is without boundary, and the sky is the limit for her. And it's still a privilege to continue to support that journey with her and watch her grow exponentially.
Yeah. And, as I hear this, helping people get over their fear and really tune into their gifts is how you manifest your intentions. You tune into those gifts, you think about what the contribution you want to make in the world is, and you get out of your own way. Well, that's easier said than done from what I'm hearing from both of you. You need the wisdom of the ages, and you need the transformational processes that really can help. So thank you both for the beautiful work you're doing with people to free them to do the beautiful work they're meant to do. And I want to know a little bit more about, you're both here at Women Speakers Association. You're both premier members. Tell me a little bit about what you love. What's the value? Michelle?
Oh, Women's Speakers Association is my hub for networking and connecting. So already in 2022, one television show today, guesting on one podcast and guesting on one UK radio station. And in 2021, 8 guest spots on podcasts, 3 radio spots, and 2 television shows. Plus, I could keep going. I was just starting to do an accounting. But in essence, I'm so enamored of it. I've become the global business connector for Bermuda, and I really want to expand the good news with all of my connections.
Lovely. Well, I love that you're keeping track of all the results you're getting as a part of being connected to the Women Speakers Association community. And if you don't know where to start, go to speakersuccessplan.com. There's a free roadmap for you to do exactly what Michelle's doing. And now, Christine, tell us about your journey here. What do you love? What's the value of Women Speakers Association?
I absolutely love connecting with ladies like you, people who are excited to see what today brings, excited to see how we can help one another, and to also learn from each other on how to grow the services that we've been called to do. So honestly, this is just a wonderful place to network. To really network, really authentically network, to find somebody like Michelle, who after this I can say, hey, can we have a conversation together and let's brainstorm and help one another. It's really an uplifting, optimistic atmosphere. And that's very special to me, especially in these days where we're isolated a bit. A lot of us, I know I am in New York, right? You are too in Bermuda. And it's amazing because you would think Women's Speakers Association that we absolutely had to be in person, but we don't. We are connected globally. And here we are, right in the middle of our day where we get to be together, uplift one another and teach one another. So I'm so grateful for Women's Speakers Association.
And we are so grateful for you, for the great work you're doing, for the uplifting energy you're bringing, for the community you create. And by the way, Women's Speakers Association has always been a virtual. We thought that in 2019, we were making all these great plans to go in person. And guess what? The pandemic happened. So we just pivoted that with Michelle, like the Global Business Connector program, to bring regional people together, to organize, to get more visibility, to leverage the platform, but we did it online because that's where we always have been. So you ladies, if anyone out there watching, welcome. We want you to express your message, to have the support, the resources, the networking, the connections, the training, up-leveling your business. Go and get your Speaker Success Plan, speakersuccessplan.com. Or if you know you want to join and become a premier member, you can go to joinwsa.com. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you so much, Christine. Your blessings in the world. We will see you next time. Bye for now.